Welcome back to my channel, Dr. CL for Knowledge. Today I will listen about spinal cord. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to supporting me posting more videos about the medicine. I will listen today about the general information about spinal cord, how the impulse is transported through the spinal cord to the brain, spinal nerve, how they extended from the spinal cord and get out through the vertebra, spinal meninges, gray matter, white matter. Spinal cord arises cranially as a continuation of the medulla oblongata part of the brainstem, which is located in the occipital area. They get out from the skull to the spinal column through the foramen magnum. It then travels inferiorly within the vertebral canal surrounded by spinal meninges containing cerebrospinal fluid. At the lumbar second vertebra, the spinal cord tapers off, forming the cones of medullaris. Here we can see the cones of medullaris. We start with the disc of the second lumbar vertebra. Spinal meninges. There is three membranes that surrounded the spinal cord and also surrounded the brain: the dura mater, arachnoid mater, pia mater. The dura mater is tough fiber membrane that emerges with the filium terminal. The spinal dura mater is the most external of meninges. It extends from the foramen magnum to the filium terminal, separated from the walls of the vertebral canal by epidural space. This space contains some loose connective tissue and intervertebral venous plexus, and also some blood vessels and the fat to prevent the damage from the outer environment to the spinal cord. Here we can see the dura mater surrounds the nerve root and fuses with the outer connective tissue covering the nerve. Surrounded the nerve root at the beginning, branching them. Here we can see the arachnoid is attached to the dura mater, while the pia mater is attached to the tissue of the central nervous system, which is the tissue of the brain, or spinal cord. With the dura mater and the arachnoid separated through the injury or illness, the space between them is the subdural space. There is a subpial space underneath the pia mater that separated it from the glial limitins. The glial limitins is the outer brain tissue that consists of the astrocyte and preventing the neurons, glial cells, and some nourishment to get out of the brain tissue to the pia mater. So it's keeping them and protecting them. The arachnoid and pia mater. Arachnoid located between the dura mater and the pia mater is separated from the latter by subarachnoid space, which contains cerebrospinal fluid in the subarachnoid space. Joins the filium terminal in the level of second sacrum vertebra. The pia mater. The spinal pia mater is the innermost of meninges. It's a thin membrane that covers the spinal cord, nerve roots, and their blood vessels inferiorly. The spinal pia mater fuse with the filium terminal. So the innermost meninges is the membrane that covers spinal cord, nerve fiber, blood vessels, and the fuses with the filium terminal and the inferiorly. The pia mater is parasited by blood vessels to the brain and spinal cord, and its capillaries nourish the brain. So it's highly vascular. It has a lot of capillaries nourishing for the brain inside it. Here we can see the meninges of the brain. Here we can find, it's not in the picture, the brainstem is dense regular connective tissue, and above them the skin of the scalp covering the head. Here we can see the bone of the skull. Dura mater, which is thicker than the arachnoid. Here we can see the arachnoid, and the pia mater, this one. It's thicker than them because it contains connective tissue in its composition. Here we can see the subarachnoid space, this one, subarachnoid space, in this white lines called arachnoid trabeculus, in this one called cerebral cortex, which separated the brain into two parts: the hemisphere, left hemisphere and right hemisphere. This is the brain tissue. Here we can see the epidural space contains many blood vessels and fat, where anesthetics can be injected into the epidural space in the second sacrum vertebra to dull the pain. This, now as saddle block, permit the patient to be conscious during the operation on the pelvic region and childbirth. So this region in the first lumbar, third and fourth lumbar vertebra, and second sacrum vertebra, they have epidural space which is thicker, and when you insert the needle, they have a thicker space not to inject it or damage the spinal cord. Gray matter, this one we can see, this consists of the nerve cell bodies and dendrites of afferent neurons, unmyelinated axons of spinal neurons, it has unmyelinated, sensory and motor neurons, and axon terminal on of neurons. This mistake. Its form, its shape, and has 3 pairs of columns. 2 vertical parts of each are called horns, made up by pairs of columns. So these pairs of columns made up the horns. It has posterior horns to function in afferent input, sensory input, and the anterior horns to an afferent somatic input for motor. From first thoracic vertebra to second lumbar vertebra, there are small horns extend laterally called lateral horns. These horns contain the cell bodies of preganglionic afferent neurons of the sympathetic nervous system. These horns, the gray commissure in Latin, joining together its nerve fiber function in cross reflexes. So the gray commissure is cross reflexes. Gray matter rich of network of blood vessels, so its color is pinkish gray. That's why they are, when you open it, they are like pinkish. Here in this picture we can see the spinal cord. This is the dorsal, this is the gray matter, white matter, this one. This is the dorsal horns of the gray matter, ventral horns of the gray matter, and lateral horns of the gray matter. The posterior and anterior commissure. Here we can see the somatic afferent fibers, for motor somatic fibers. Here we can see the somatic afferent sensory fibers. This one, the vascular afferent fibers for the green one, for the vascular nervous system. Here we can see the dorsal root. The spinal ganglia is a collection of cell bodies which located out of the central nervous system. Here in this one we can see the spinal nerve trunk. The white matter, it's getting its name because of the myelinated nerve fibers. It has myelinated nerve fibers, which is colorish, whitish color, is divided into 3 pairs of column called funiculi at commissure area. And funiculi has bundles of nerve fiber divided into tract called fasciculi. So in the funiculi has nerve bundles in it. So it has ascending tract made of sensory fibers carry impulses to brain, and the descending tract carry the motor fibers impulses from the brain to the spinal cord, which is ascending and descending has longer tracts and shorter tracts, 2 types of tracts, nerve cells. The longer tract carry impulses between the brain and spinal cord, but the shorter from one level of cord to another carry impulses. Here we can see in the light blue one, the ascending tract carry impulses to the brain, and in the red one we can see 2 carry impulses from the brain to the spinal cords. Here we can see the anterior commissure and posterior commissure to find each other. Spinal nerve. Each spinal nerve begins as an anterior motor and a posterior sensory nerves root, an anterior motor and the posterior sensory for spinal nerve. These roots arise from the spinal cord and unite at the intervertebral foramen, forming a single spinal nerve. The spinal nerve then leaves. No, this one is mistake. I should retype it. When I post it into my Facebook page, I will made this for this presentation better. I'll fix the mistake. The vertebral canal and the intervertebral foramen are then divided into 2. The spinal nerve, when it leaves the vertebral canal, and the intervertebral foramen, they divided into 2, posterior rami and anterior rami. Focus. When they leave the vertebra, they call posterior rami and anterior rami. The posterior rami supplies nerve fibers of the synovial joint of the vertebral column, deep muscles of the back, and the cutaneous the skin overlying cutaneous nerves. This one is for posterior rami, and anterior rami supplies nerve fibers of much of the remaining area of the body, both motor and sensory, the remaining area of the body. Here in this picture we can see the white matter in the white, the gray matter in the gray color, and the posterior ramus, anterior ramus. This is the nerve roots when get out of the vertebra, so they call the ramus. The posterior root, inside the vertebra. Anterior root, this one. Spinal ganglia, collection of the cell bodies This one in the pink is called pia mater. This one purple, arachnoid mater, which has subarachnoid space. This one, which it has cerebrospinal fluid. This white one is dura mater, which is still covering the nerve roots, the beginning of the nerve root. This one epidural fat, and has epidural space. This one, but didn't write it here. The spinal meninges. There's everything about the spinal cord, but still some information about how the spinal nerves, ascending and descending tract, how to making transformation of the impulses. I didn't explain it, just general information to revise it.